All systems have been alerted to your presence, sir.
I have a very bad feeling about this.
I hope you know what you're doing.
The Emperor has been expecting you.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Toy Chest, episode 26, being recorded on March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, 2025. I am not wearing green because I don't like it. I don't want
You
it.
son of a...
That's right.
Forgot to
I should have come and visited you. You're going to be a pinch.
No, I am not Irish. I don't play along. I don't play well with others.
I have a
Well,
green
that's true.
microfiber cloth that I'm using with today. There we go.
There you go.
I got
am
you
your
all
host.
covered.
Thank you. I'm your host, Darth Butcher. I got Scott Solo here.
What's up, nerds?
SKN on fire. Why do I say that? The link is in the description below. Go check it out. Alexander Storm.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Another
Is
brand
there
that's
an
going to hit
ointment
us.
for that?
Yeah,
An
there
ointment for
is.
fiery
There might be
skin?
an app for it. I buy.
Okay.
But somebody who's going to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of this recording. I know it. Tommy Bliss Transmissions.
What's going on, guys? How we all doing? How we
All
doing?
right.
Good.
Well,
I'm going to unsubscribe just so I can be number 1,000.
Yeah, let's go, man.
the links are in the description below if you want to check out our network here and see what's going on over there. I hope you do. You should, because there's a lot going on. Just like today's talk, there's going to be a lot going on. It's going to be a fun show. But first, of course, I'm going to bring up our Patreon list, our Shadow Council. You guys on Wednesday will get the proper shout out if you want to feel so inclined to see what it is all about. Scan that QR code and get connected. But thank you guys so much. You make the show possible, along with everybody being digested in our pit. Well, I gotta do this first because pay to win. We are a pay to win site. Commander Bly, power of the pay to win first. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for always being there and just getting our chat live, man. Stu John Jedi was first, but you know, we'll see.
Sorry, pal. Say you're broke.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. We've got Rhino Hobbies are checking in. We have Mando Mike.
All right.
All right, cool. Driving and listening. Well, I hope this is gonna be a visual show, but I hope that you'll get it because this is right up your alley. And there are a lot of people watching, and get in there. Let's make your voices heard, and let's get talking some Star Wars toys. So before we get into a couple things that we want to do, Collectors Con was this last week, and of course the Star Wars, the Walmart Collectors Con. We knew it was coming out. It was going to be the Revenge of the Sith anniversary Black Series wise. Like that was it. No other vintage collection, nothing else. The R2, the Kit Fisto, the Count Dooku, and what was it, the 501st Trooper?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are on Walmart probably as we speak. Still right now, you could pre-order them. They're not going anywhere, which I'm thankful for. I wasn't going to pre-order them because I'm like, again, anniversary stuff, and I thought the Count Dooku that we had was great as it was. I thought the R2D2 was great as was, unless it came with a stand and some blast effects. I would have been all over that R2, but you know, kind of like one of those things, like how I kind of feel how Scott feels sometimes. Like it's good that they're out. It took place of a release, and my wallet can rest a little bit. You know what I mean? Just for right now.
If you're not a fan of the card back, easy pass.
Yeah, and if you are, I'm sure this is going to be phase 1 or wave 1 of maybe 2 or 3 throughout the year, and maybe on your walls look great. I think because I do dig that bubble wrap or that bubble packaging, for a 6-inch version, right? So, let's see here. Commander Bly, of course. Stu John, upcoming Dooku release appears to have given a soft goods downgrade.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't look at that. I know that the face sculpt is different. I think.
As far as I know, it's all the same.
Okay, because honestly, as I was looking at the Dooku here, and I was like, man, you know what? It's perfect, and I don't need another one. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Again, my kind of opinion, it's almost like that should be Attack of the Clones release, Dooku.
Yeah.
Same thing with Kit Fisto. And that R2, I mean, all of them really are Attack of the Clones release. It's weird. It's weird, even though they're all in.
Didn't really do Attack of the Clones packaging that heavy.
No,
the big thing for Hasbro.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and on those, I remember those 3 3/4 cards were. I didn't like that.
They're terrible.
Star Wars Saga was what it was called, right?
Yeah. It was the blue carded where they were all mixed in together. That little purple backdrops if they were Attack of the Clones figures. Yeah, it was. Not so great.
I see. Stu John saying the cape doesn't look like it has seams. Well, I don't think anybody here is getting them to do like a side by side. Oh, you're okay, Tommy.
Oh, okay.
Are you
Two
opening?
each.
Okay, you are opening. So maybe we'll Bliss Transmissions go and do a review over there, and we'll get confirmation, of course.
Yeah.
Hey, so guess what I got in the mail?
Oh, okay.
Look, someone who doesn't buy clones buys clones. Tommy, is it Baccarat or Bacara?
Bacara.
Thank you.
Yes.
So Clone Commander Bacara came in today. I was happy about this. And Tommy, you got a March Madness thing going over there on your Instagram and everything. And it's cool because and I voted. I sat there and I voted on everything what you're putting out. And I was voting for everything that I saw was unique. You know what I mean? Like more of a different build, a pilot, the heavy gunner, stuff like that, versus another just a repainted commander and just called him something else, right? So I am, as I was going through that, I was hoping those do get made. I really am. Like, I think that could be a cool expansion of the clones itself. Like I said, I have a whole shelf dedicated to that. I should try to take a picture, put it on Instagram one day, and add it to the 1-minute review or something like that. Because
nice.
I put the battle droids next to it, and then it's fighting all my commanders.
It's been really fun. We're in round 3 right now. We just started round 3 today. And out of the remaining 16, I think 13 or 14 of them would require some level of new tooling.
Nice.
And the ones that would not require new tooling are named characters that had a pretty significant role in an episode or an arc or something. So it's cool to see. And it's a good mix of 2003 Clone Wars, 2008 Clone Wars, Bad Batch, and Revenge of the Sith, and Attack of the Clones out of those. So it's literally a great mix of everything that the community voted on. So it just goes to show that it's a very good mixed bag.
How is my Clone 99 coming? How's he doing?
He lost in round 2.
Oh, he made it. He made it once.
Lost to the Scuba clone. From
I'll take either or.
That's a worthy loss, though. And to lose to that, that's
next time.
Yeah.
Looks like the Scuba Trooper's doing pretty good in this current round too.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Commander Bly. Clones suck, bro.
Yeah. Son of a cloner. Get out of here.
Yes, his Bacara came in yesterday. It looks great. Yeah, it does. Shooting guide Monday in the back. That's great.
So wrong.
Basil G is checking in, and if I didn't get to Hal Runner is checking in also. So
what up?
Yeah, so that came in. I know my Savage shipped and my Shizor shipped.
Oh, you're
Okay.
so lucky.
Wow.
Yeah, through Hasbro Pulse. That's like people are getting their Shizors that they ordered through Amazon, right?
Yeah.
First, right? And then I just got notification that Shizor is on his way, but my Savage has shipped. So I'm like, yes, I cannot.
Savage is a beast.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
It's funny because I saw a side by side with him and Maul, and I was like, I didn't realize. I knew he was a bigger figure, but I didn't know he was towering over Maul.
Yeah,
So
he's
that's
big.
Yeah, no, it's weird though because you guys, so you pre-ordered through Pulse and you're getting it before Big Bad Toy Store. And
Yeah.
Amazon came in already. That's strange for Pulse. Pulse is usually on
That
the
is.
tail end.
You know what's hit and miss with them, man. Like all of
Yeah.
a sudden they will. I guess it depends on when you order it too. It's like a timing thing. It's like okay, maybe because I mean I jump on every pre-order I can almost the minute it comes out. You know, it's just the way I collect these days. You know. And sometimes if I wait on it, it won't come in for months.
Yeah.
But if you hit that early wave, there's I guess it's beneficial for them to get it in as many people's hands early as possible so they could do the reviews and get those out there. And Hal Runner, did you guys vote in the Star Wars the Vintage Collection MM today? March Madness, The Strange is going up against Mara Jade. Where is that?
This is the one.
Is that?
Oh, that's I think that's you can find it on Yak Face. I believe it's
Oh, that's
Yak
right.
Face.
That's right.
You can find the link on Yak Face for that. I have not been able to vote on any of them because I completely forget until it's already passed. And it's like, oh, right. Oops, my bad.
Mara Jade, to me, I don't like their figures. I'm okay with the character. I never liked the look of her ever in the comics and in the cover art ever. I thought she was like an 80s rocker chick and I didn't like it. You know what I mean? It's like that wild hair. I didn't. So I'll vote for the Stranger, you know. So we got Paul Morales checking in.
Hey, Paul. Did you see that Disneyland is actually getting Mara Jade's lightsaber though?
Yes.
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a very interesting turn. It's a strange play for Disney.
I think George Lucas feels about that. He's
yeah, I think George Lucas doesn't give a shit anymore, regardless. So,
oh man. Well, let me go ahead and bring in something else that was kind of a fan vote thing that was shocking to me that Mr. Stevie put out.
Oh.
And if there's Hasbro representatives that follow or report back, well, here's your chance to get the toy chest feedback on this poll. I'll bring it up right here. Again, this is not real poll only. And the reason why I bring it is because it's talking about retro, right? And I wouldn't have really kind of bothered with this, you know what I mean? Because again, it's probably just gauging the pulse of the fandom to see where it's at, you know.
The pulse.
Until we
did there.
Yeah, until we get into the selections. Now, again, Uncle Owen and Peru, of course, like it's given, whatever. And I wouldn't, like I said, wouldn't even bat an eye. Here's your cantinas if you want, but this next one, or not the next one, Wedge. Okay, Wedge. Okay. This one is interesting.
Okay.
Why, if the whole talk of the town is Hasbro would never touch this ever again, they would never make a Ula, never make a Hut Slayer, Leia, all these things, and then Mr. Stevie's post puts a Leia on here as, you know.
I have a comment about that, and that comment is, I have never heard anything official from Hasbro or
they weren't going to come out,
or Disney saying they were never going to produce this figure again.
Yeah.
So I say it's all on the table. I don't think there's any. I don't know unless I hear Mr. Stevie come out and say, yeah, guys, it's never going to happen. Then I agree. Say everything's on the table, including Ula. You know, it's all possible.
It was almost like a I guess how everybody takes it, you know, not just in toy collecting, but in general. If it's not said, it's almost like what's not being said is just as equally as important as being said too.
Yeah.
So if they never address Slave Leia, if they never address Ula in any fashion, you know what I mean? Like it's just as good as saying we're never going to do it. That's how people take it. I'm not saying that's the how it should be. But yes, you're right. Like him confirming this even being in their thought process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, is he making a statement that way of what you just said too? Hey guys, it's on paper. That means we've never stopped thinking about it. We may never produce it, but it's always it's almost like get off our back about never saying anything about producing these the risque.
So I kind of wonder if it kind of had to do, in the last couple of years we saw the big change in character selection. I wonder if this is part of Disney and Lucasfilm letting go of the reins a little bit on what can be made, letting go of the restrictions. And again, why are we restricting, it's inappropriate to have this figure on shelves when the people who would be upset about it are not buying action figures anyway?
Exactly.
Yes.
So, maybe they've loosened their grip a little bit and this is just part of that,
Yeah, exactly. I've always said that. Like, if you're going to do something, what the backlash is what? Like the people are not buying your stuff or still not going to buy your stuff. Like, but you will sell out of every this will not be a peg warmer. This would be sold out in retro, vintage, and a Black Series.
Unless it's as bad as the last Black Series version.
Yeah.
Now this figure has already been released in Vintage Collection. So it's been released in Vintage Collection. It's been released in Black Series. Yeah. It's been released many times before. So having a retro that would be cool. But Solo, I bought a Stan Solo version of it that was absolutely fantastic. So,
well, only Hell Runner will let it sit on the peg.
Well, I think at one point or another, they're going to have to, I think Disney definitely going to have to take the reins off because they produce so many figures already. And I think they're passing up things that if you like handcuff Hasbro, then one, these people are paying for your major licensing. But the second thing is if fans want it, you got to get things to the fans because the only thing it's doing is pushing fans to the way oversaturated market that we have now. And I think that you definitely need to take this is not as now, if you did it like, every other wave or something I could understand a part of somebody saying, well, that's a tad bit offensive, but to just do one in a line that you haven't had it, get it out of the way, do it in the best of tooling and get it to fans' hands. And then those that missed it probably are missed out on it.
Right. I mean, they made a concerted effort to bring Leia into and call her the Hutt Slayer. And they really paid attention to that in the novels. Like we're bringing her back and we're rebranding her from Slave Leia to Hutt Slayer Leia. I mean, they really did that. Right. So it makes sense that,
just freaking own it. This outrage brought to you by the people that are still upset that Cobra Commander doesn't have a hood, right?
Exactly.
It's a non-issue that's become an issue because of a lack of them talking about it. So make it.
Well, make it. And that's why I was like, kind of like when I saw this, I was just kind of thumbing through. I'm like, whoa, all right. Some confirmation that it's still in the thought process or the whiteboard or whatever it is, and of course my comment, it's right there under Tasha Station. It says, do all these in Black Series, hands down. Just do them all.
So, were there any others or was this the last one?
Oh, no, I'm going to keep going. So anyway, sweet. This was the one again that was like kind of made me happy that it was just in the talks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just in the forefront of that. So, and I'll buy one just to support. So.
Fair.
Nice.
Yeah. Garandan, we need this in Black Series too, man. Like I said, I don't know about but Garandan is one, and then this one is interesting. We talk about this all the time.
Interesting.
Yeah, a blue Snaggletooth and make it exclusive. I don't care. Make it a show exclusive, a Comic-Con, whatever it is. Make fun of the fact that they did too.
Hey,
whatever.
Really be a dick. I think there's still one Sears left out there in the world. Make it a Sears exclusive. Just
right. Yeah, exactly.
Let's bring back Walgreens exclusive. How about that?
Yeah. Dagobah Luke.
Okay. Does he have the elbows that can hold it?
Yeah. Hopefully. It's retro. I don't think so. So.
Now I'm going to tell you something right now from Hutt Slayer Leia onward. Those have all been done by Stan Solo in the vintage style. So it's very interesting that they're
You know what
tackling all those.
they did make
Yeah.
are making an effort to kind of combat the third parties and those
I like
high and the eBay
Mhm.
scarcity. They are
Yeah.
doing that, and it's taking a long time. But I think
Yeah.
you're right. I think it's like, look, this is our IP. Let's rein it in on our
Definitely.
terms, kind of stuff.
I mean, thanks to these retro figures. Oh, that's cool. So thanks
Yeah.
to these retro figures, I have a carded yak face, right? I've got a vintage
Yeah.
loose regular yak face, but now I've got a carded yak face. I could never afford a carded yak face.
Yeah.
But Biggs here, that's cool, especially
Yeah.
since it's the Tashi Station version of him.
that's right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How Run Retro Collection is fan channel,
Over
right?
head.
Yeah, I think so.
No,
Kind
it
of.
is not. Retro is both
that's
it's
right.
usually a Target exclusive, especially the last set was a
Oh.
Target exclusive.
Interesting.
I pre-ordered it through there. So we've had boxes of them that have been Disneyland exclusives. We've had boxes that have been fan channel exclusives, like the Acolyte. The Acolyte set was fan channel and Pulse.
Yeah.
And then Target.
They're probably just more exclusive line, not a main line. Yeah. No, got it. But I wanted to bring that up. I wanted to bring out the attention to talk of it because, again, if the point was to get people talking about those posts, then great job. Do more of those.
Yeah.
If you want to do with all the other lines and maybe, like I said, obscure characters like what Tommy's doing with the clones, like here's a list of clones and I got some data that they can take with them, So I think it's cool and very interesting that they're looking at, like I said, Scott said, some figures that were unproduced or haven't been produced in a long time, or ones that are being third-party produced that they might want to just kind of rein it in a bit,
Yeah.
Because like one of my major complaints is like a third party will produce a yak face and they'll still make it $100. You know what I mean? Like in that sense, and it's like
ridiculous. Yeah.
I'm like, but it's scarce because that was the last 17 and it was on this, but this shouldn't be scarce, But again, and so now you have a $100 repro. Still cheaper, and it does look great. I will never take away from anything.
Yeah,
like those third party because they're really good.
What a cool set, though.
Yeah, it is. That would be great. So I'm wondering. I hope there's a follow up. I really do.
Yeah.
Hope there's a follow up on Mr. Stevie.
William
Rodriguez is checking in. What's up? We also have Eric Coates on there. So yeah.
What's up?
Any news on the vintage collection?
It's dead.
Hey, knock it off. No, the only thing I've seen is I've seen a lot of rumblings about pre-order coming up for the land speeder.
The land speeder should be one of those things that come out of the blue, right? Like all of a sudden, it's up for pre-order. Yeah.
I do think that I want to say I heard a rumor that there might be another fan stream coming up before Celebration, and with
end of
that,
March,
I would
actually.
Wow.
Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing the first hints of the new Obi-Wan, Chewbacca, and Han Solo. Finishing off those pipeline reveals from
the Tatooine. Yeah.
And the freaking Streets of Tatooine set is starting to ship already.
Yeah, it is.
So the Streets of Tatooine shipping, we're still probably another year away from the actual Cantina arriving, but that's all the news that's fit to print right now for the vintage collection.
Yeah. And of course we'll keep everybody updated, and like I said, look for those streams to or that pre-order to automatically all of a sudden, like on a Tuesday, just be available. And then because that's they do that a lot, especially with they don't give you any kind of like heads up. But
nope.
On Black Series news, I did see this too. Jedi Temple Guard. It's the parts were leaked and everything. I'm like,
so exciting.
Insta buy.
Yep. Couple of them.
Yeah, Jedi Temple Guard for Black Series and Vintage Collection. Yeah. Thank you for that, Hal Runner. I did see that post, that leak. Yeah.
The question is, I'm wondering if they're going to do like a removable, like will
Get out of my head.
Will it not be removable on the figure so they can pack it in with Blind Kanan when he comes later this year? Because that's something that is in the rumor mill too. So.
What I want is a swappable head where you can put the Inquisitor's head on there. So you get a Temple Guard Inquisitor, Grand Inquisitor. That'd be incredible.
Yeah.
But we don't do swapped heads.
No. I don't know if Hasbro takes. I know in the G.I. Joe line they take the future proofing serious. I don't know if they take Star Wars and future proofing serious. You know what I mean? Like for that exact same thing. eventually you could take this and put it out with everything.
If you're talking about this, I mean, you've got a figure already. You've got a built-in army builder with this, so you could include that head. Now, think about it. If they put the Inquisitor's head in the package with that, you could take that head and you could put it on that terrible Inquisitor we got for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
And have yourself
the Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Have yourself a sick-looking Inquisitor.
100%.
You know?
Yeah, but again, they don't think that way. They don't think
they don't.
That, but it's just one and done and move on to the next, and
the
Yak Face did a thing on his post too. He did an accessory pack, like a mock-up. It was 100% mock-up by him, and I thought that was great. It had all these different lightsabers and hilts and everything. The only thing I would add there would be force push hands, just different hands.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need force push hands. That's like a big thing in an accessory pack. That's something they wouldn't even need to, besides the lightsaber hilts, they wouldn't even need permission to do that stuff. You know what I mean?
I know, right? Commander Bly, they can't put his head in there. Eggs are too expensive.
Yeah. Well, like Alex was saying, prepare ourselves for the $30 figure. It's coming. It's coming.
Hey, I heard something today. I didn't check myself, but I heard that Big Bad upped their prices on 6-inch figures to $27.99.
Oh, 27, because I know they're normally
25.
If they're 24, they're always $1 more.
Yeah, they were.
So, but
I'm
27
right now.
Wow.
I'm on there right now. $27.99.
Whoa.
But it looks like it's weird though.
So is Shizor. Isn't Shizor deluxe or is he regular?
No, Shizor's not deluxe. He's regular.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Commando Droid is $27.99, but then Rex is $27.99, but then the Luke Skywalker, the Farm Boy one that just came out, is still $25.
Yeah, because it's the older. I guess it's whatever new wave is being produced and shipped now. Because Luke and Leia were the wave before that, so there's that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, all the ones that are previously
if my pre-orders are upped as well.
Wow.
It's coming. Well, that means that they just got an upper hand on it, and Hasbro's yet to give us the
true.
So maybe we could speculate a $26.99 figure coming for before the $29.99.
Yeah, I think they normally go in tiers like that.
Yeah. Phantom Menace Dennis is checking in. Happy St. Patty's Day. Yes, sir.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Big Bad Toy Store is selling Mace Windu 2-pack for $80. Oof.
Yeah, they got that on off an auction. Usually is what they do.
Right.
If they didn't have it to begin with. But so I will say, if you pre-ordered anything before this price change just happened, your older pre-order, they honored the previous price.
Okay. Yeah, because my Shizor, again, Shizor hasn't shipped, but they just took out the funds yesterday, and it was $24.99. It was the normal price, So, that's I don't think they could legally do that, right? They can't after you've locked in the price.
Does it?
Oh yeah, Target.
Target.
Yeah, I know that. The Target with their GI Joe exclusives. I hope that Alex talks about that on their next tribunal over at SKN. We need our breakers, man. That's all right. Anyway, that's for SKN. That's not for me. That's not for me right now. But So recap, it's interesting data that Mr. Stevie is pulling. I hope that it continues. I really do hope that saying that you're going to reach out and then reaching out, but continue. Yeah. That's the problem with a lot of things, right? Yeah, I reached out 3 years ago, right? So it's got to be a continuous thing. Make those a monthly poll, and it doesn't matter if you don't do anything right away with that info. It's just a matter of gauging. Like I said, we're at a lot of times we're at that point in collecting where a lot of people want to start finishing and fleshing out their stuff. They don't want, another Dooku all the time and stuff. So exactly, Stu John. Yes. Walmart had zero issues charging me for my pre-orders. Yeah, Walmart charges right up front.
Right on the point.
Yeah. See, for me, it's a phantom charge. They charge and then it goes away. And then when it ships is when I actually get charged for it.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think Target, if you don't have the if you don't do PayPal or the red card, I think Target takes it out right away. If you PayPal, they will wait until it ships.
I hate Target so much. I have such an unbridled rage towards Target. Whenever I pre-order, it's like a constant phantom charge. Like, so I'll have one phantom charge, and then they'll
I had that issue.
Second one, so then I'm getting charged twice for one day, and then the old one expires, and then the new one, and they just do it all the way until
it releases. Yeah, it's
so
frustrating.
Are you guys using red card, or are you guys
it's
using
just regular.
No regular debit.
So I use red card, and it doesn't do that. It just sits there in limbo until it ships, and then I get the charge.
Yeah, they've had it. I've had that same issue. Yeah. Stu John correction, Mace is 70. But still.
Yeah, but I've never had the same thing on Walmart. Like this past CollectorCon, it went out like right away.
Wow.
Like within 2 minutes of actual order, it was like, oh, you've been ordered, and it was debited out of my account. Right away.
And I think it's shipping soon. That's why I think they have it. Like it's shipping in April. Like
they'll be here May 4th.
Yeah. Well, Collector's Con again. It was just we knew what it was, and
it's Walmart.
It's Walmart, and I'm kind of glad that there wasn't that much of a Star Wars presence, but at the same time, it makes me nervous too, because it does make me nervous. You know, like we, even though we are kind of like looking into like the grand scheme of things and how the collecting world and how it all kind of the future is shaped, and the pre-orders and how they're doing things, especially with Celebration coming. I know there's going to be a lot of wait and see where Celebration is at. But it also makes me nervous when Star Wars doesn't make that much of an effort to get into these kind of collectors crazes, those cons, the exclusives in that realm, right? I mean, like I'll put G.I. Joe as an example. Like they hit you hard in Collectors Con. They hit you hard in San Diego Comic-Con coming up.
Yeah.
No Star Wars yet. It's like, and then what we got was, like I said, the figure, you know, it's like the Revenge of the Sith stuff. It was like, all right, it's a hit and miss with a lot of collectors. Like, you know, I think Tommy, so 4 of us, only 1 of us pre-ordered. And I don't know if you pre-ordered all of them, Tommy, or just
2 of each.
2 of each. Oh, geez.
No, I did R2 D2.
Okay, cool.
I wanted an R2 just to cut out of the package and put them on the shelf.
Awesome.
So I figured that's the one I could get away with.
There you go.
Yeah, I pre-ordered Cody ages ago, but that was the only one I wanted out of the set. So
yeah.
I didn't bother.
Yeah, I looked at him. Like I said, the only thing I was going off was Crystal Ball, and that was it. And I got him. So like,
I didn't. I completely forgot Crystal Ball was out there. So I am SOL for the time being.
Mooch, I don't want to, you know, just to give you a little bit of hope here. For coming up, I do have some potential. You know, these might be coming out. Totally not confirmed. Totally. 5 figures that, you know, we could talk about publicly. A new Asajj Ventress look from the Clone Wars is on the way.
Okay. I'll buy it.
No, Scott's gonna love this one. A Clone Wars Hondo Onaka with his monkey lizard may or may not be on the way.
I will buy that.
And it is this. I don't know if this is Black Series or Vintage. It might be both. It might be one. You know. Also, the new Kanan Jarrus, Blind Kanan, but then also Tales of the Jedi, sweet. Count Dooku.
Okay,
that would be interesting. And
you had me with Tales of the Jedi, and then you said Count Dooku, and I'm like, still
cool,
but
it's stylized. Like if it's stylized, it'd be great. Like I'm really shocked that Hasbro hasn't put a stylized version of the Clone Wars figures out, like the very eccentric,
like
Rebels.
Sideshow did.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Did you notice that? I think, I don't know who the manufacturer is, but there is a Star Wars Rebels version of the Stormtrooper now.
Hot Toys
in 12-inch figure. Is it Hot Toys?
Kono Studio.
There we go.
They're like a sub company of Hot Toys.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like and I did pre-order both of those.
Did you? Nice.
Stormtrooper, and then I saw the 7th Fleet, and I saw they teased Vader, and I was like, Rebels Vader in the 1/6 scale. I gotta have it. And then I saw the 7th Fleet Trooper, and I was like, the thought of a Rebels Thrawn crossed my mind, and I was like, yep, I'm gonna pre-order these. And they were only $150.
Wow.
Okay.
Same size? Right. Are they statues or are they figures? Are they
they're Hot Toy scale figures.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, 150, man.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
No. Robot Western checking in. Thank you for joining us. There are AT-ATs in the upcoming Mando movie. Your thoughts on an AT-AT coming to Vintage Collection after the movie releases? Are you the ATSTs or ATATs? I
thought it was an ATRT that we saw in.
Yeah, we saw the RT, but you know what? Here's the thing. I will say this in blanket statement: RT, ST, or AT. I think they would all come out for Vintage Collection. I really do. Especially if there's a different paint or damaged or whatever there is. I would expect that. Yeah.
We've had a Vintage Collection release of the big AT-AT before, and it was a Toys R Us exclusive. I want to say it was also Endor decor, so it had like green stains on the feet.
Yeah.
That one was released before, so I could absolutely see them. And that same AT-AT was released in the blue box. I think it was the Clone Wars era box packaging. It's whenever it first came out. So I could absolutely see them re-releasing that one again. It is massive and it's fantastic. Could it be bigger? Sure, but I think you get to ridiculous size after a while, right?
They threw around a Black Series one. Just saying.
That right there is insanity.
Yeah.
If you're talking an AT-AT, oh my god,
dude, I would buy it.
It'd be on my shelf.
Of course.
Man.
It's like, is that on your shelf? No, it's my living room. Like it's my living room.
this bookshelf over here would just have to go away because that's.
And I would probably have to do more than one of them.
Yeah.
Is this where Scott would finally knock that wall down that Mooch keeps talking about?
Now this wall can go, right?
Oh my god.
Yeah, it'd be on. I'd be
on the floor.
A floor. Yeah. That second story is the AT-AT, you know.
You put him as an occupant of your house on your taxes. He's so big.
It would
there you go.
Would be right there. That's a benefit right there.
Yes, exactly. Well, guys, there's one other big thing that we wanted to kind of talk about today on this episode. 30 years ago, almost to the day, I guess, 30 years ago. The year was 1995. And here I am, a young Darth Butcher, just fresh out of high school, 18 years old, and I was going to ITT. And in spare time, I was picking up the Star Wars Insider, and I was reading. It was quarterly at that time. And one little article, I swear, it was about one. It had one little article that says Kenner to make a comeback, figures, Star Wars figures.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? And the second issue, I had to wait 3 months to the next Star Wars Insider issue, and had a picture of the original 9 Power of the Force 2 figures to make a comeback. And it said, we are going to release the 9 figures plus Millennium Falcon, TIE Fighter, not Millennium Falcon. It was TIE Fighter, X-Wing, and Landspeeder. Oh, it was a Falcon too. So
Falcon
4 vehicles, 9 as a, and it was as a exclusive one-off, not meant to do anything but be past those 9 figures and those 4 ships. And it was just because they were, I don't know, it was just like it was a time to revitalize it, or they were gearing testing up for the waters.
Yeah, they were gearing up for the 20th anniversary of the Star Wars franchise. And here, Scott Solo, I'm working at Service Merchandise of all places. Mando Mike is working in the electronics department. I'm working in the toy department. Very dangerous for me. I was telling this to Alex earlier today. It was very dangerous working in the toy department. But I was helping out in the back, and conveyor belts there, and the truck, they're starting to unload the truck, and out pops this little case. And I picked it up, and it said Star Wars POTF2. And I'm like, I'm just going to set this right over here.
Interesting.
And I just kept on working. And then by the end of the day, I think Mando Mike and I had bought the entire case, or maybe I bought the entire case and said to Mando Mike, I don't remember. It was 30 years ago, but 20 years old, and I'm collecting Batman toys because I love Batman animated series. Yeah. And out rolls Star Wars, my first love of toys. And it all
back in 95, 94, 95, there was toy collecting was still, it was kind of like, it was still a thing, because again, they had the Batman, Spawn was still out. It had a lot of the Alien versus Predator stuff. They had Marvel stuff. I mean, there was a lot going on, like I would spend, hours at Toys R Us, not even having a Star Wars thing to collect, but I was into that mode of Star Wars. Just for some, it was just there, like the planets were aligning for this to happen. And then when I read that article, I was like the only one flipping out about it. Like I felt, I was like, oh my God, it was no release date, nothing on it, but an article saying this is just what we're doing. It's going to be under the Kenner flag, or it's going to have the original Kenner logos on it. And, it was just like I said, anticipation of the re-releasing of the Star Wars, or they were fixing them. They were preserving the film because the film was deteriorating at the time. So I guess interest started peaking again, and no release date. And I was shocked. And you fast forward now, it was shocking to think that was their only plan. It was almost like just how like G.I. Joe is like, we're just going to issue these and see where it goes. And little did everybody know that it sparked a 30-year renaissance of not just toys, but Star Wars in general. People reacted to Star Wars in an explosive manner, like, oh, this is something everybody wants. Did we know this? No, we didn't know we wanted this, and I
just remember, opening up the case, pulling out Luke and taking a look at him. And okay, now toy sculpts these days, we've come a long way, right? But before that, we had the original vintage Luke, and a little round head, bowl haircut. It was cool. But here was a Luke, regardless of the fact that he was yoked to high heaven. He could take on He-Man in a battle and maybe win. But the sculpt actually kind of looked like Mark Hamill. You pull out Han Solo, the sculpt actually kind of looked like Harrison Ford. It's like, oh my God, they look like the characters. This is the best thing ever. And you had these lightsabers that if you held it up were almost as tall as the figure.
It was awesome. Well, first, Alex, did you get into this craze at that time, or
I did not, but I will say there's nothing like the Toys R Us experience.
Yes.
And when you used to go down the aisle of Toys R Us, whatever line you were into, but the Star Wars line, there was a couple of highlights, and you went and it was like an aisle. Like now, I think when you get there are people robbed when you go into Target, and it's like a section that's like basically like maybe 4 feet wide at the most. This was an entire aisle, and with vehicles and everything. It was so overwhelming, and it's like now I look back at those times now in toy collecting, because we were still doing a lot of vintage toy hunting, going into stores, going from one going from there to KB or somewhere.
Yep. Yeah.
Now it just seems like now we've taken it for granted. It's gone, and now every time I walk into Target or Walmart, I'm like, I wish there was a Toys R Us.
I do. I'm surprised it hasn't been popped up again, like in some sort of fashion, right? So, Tommy, I need you to channel your father for a second and try to live through his experience through the power of the Force, because you actually inherited his collection, right? His
Power of the Force collection? I did, yeah.
How do you like those?
I remember playing with them as a kid. Like I grew up with, a lot of the newer stuff at the time, like the Revenge of the Sith, the 30th anniversary stuff. But I also remember Power of the Force, and my favorite ones were those deluxe figures that came with those.
Oh yeah,
the backpacks on their backs. My favorite ones were the Boba Fett and the Stormtrooper. With the little grabber claw that the Stormtrooper came with.
That's right.
It was just stuff like that I really enjoyed. And then when it came to Power of the Force, I think it. Did I freeze? Am I good? Okay.
No, you're good. Maybe we're just
we're enraptured in your.
When it came to Power of the Force, as I'm an adult now, so everyone has their physique that they want to achieve when they go to the gym, and I'm like, I want to look like Power of the Force 2 Luke, man. That's all physique I'm trying to. But no, I think honestly, I wouldn't be collecting today if it weren't for Power of the Force 2, because my dad, that's where he started as an adult, just like you guys just said. That's where my dad started really collecting one to rock, one to stock, everything. And it was started with Power of the Force 2. So because of that, I'm very thankful for that line. And it's a very, very important part of my collection. It's got a whole corner of the room all hung up. Same. And it's a great, like you guys said, great milestone for Star Wars toys. We would not have anything that we have today if it were not for the success of Power of the Force 2.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm going to bring up Stu John because, again, this is something that I've been learning. I'm sure Alex knows this, being in the entertainment business in general, about keeping a license. And it does make a lot of sense, right? So Stu John says Kenner had to do so many releases a year to maintain their license with Lucasfilm. Hasbro dropped the ball after they bought Kenner. I got to wonder if Power of the Force was Hasbro thinking it was their last run. Being that I know for a fact that it was supposed to be only like this initial run of just nostalgia, homage, whatever they decided to do. It was supposed to be limited and not really carry forward as the craze it did, because trying to find those figures at those time was virtually impossible. And when you did, you bought them, two or three at the time.
You did not wait.
Kids over. Yeah. It was like, so like I said, me learning about certain things, how the entertainment system works and why like a movie after so many years just happens to come out with something and doesn't really do anything, but it's to maintain that license. Makes a lot of sense, okay. So, it's funny at the time when we had them and we're buying these figures, and you get the toy magazines, the Toy Fair, the Wizard World magazines, and now you're getting Wave 2s, Wave 3s, Wave whatever it is. They went from orange card to green card to Shadows of the I mean, it was just it exploded like you wouldn't believe, and all of a sudden we're getting characters like our D-list, C-list, Z-list characters, and it was fantastic. And of course the sculpts did improve, that hence Farm Boy Luke, and why our intro is Farm Boy. But their decision to make the first 9 figures buff like that, like hero, these are action figures, these are heroic, and I guess it's early, 90s, everything was like that, over the top 6-pack. But we still love them. We still, I remember why I was so excited to even have that announcement of figures coming back was, for a long time, we sat there as Star Wars fans, not really talking to other people, because Star Wars wasn't a household name in the sense of you could just talk to somebody no matter what. We weren't really wearing Star Wars shirts. There was no Star Wars shirts. There wasn't anything in the stores other than Suncoast in the mall. The PVC 12-inch figures, the little porcelain mugs, the lithographs, keychains, little stuff like that.
Oh, those bronze keychains, man. I kept those suckers in the plastic bubbles. And,
I mean, coins, everything, like little knickknacks. So I would be going to like pawn shops or antique stores, and I'll be trying to find vintage toys, because that's the only thing was, besides those stupid Bendums, the Bendums that were out at the time, and so I figured this is great. It's like a second chance to collect figures as an adult versus being bought for me for Christmas and birthdays and playing with them, right? It was a lost pieces of plastic that, it was a dream. It's a pipe dream. And so I think that, having myself be in that mindset and discovering that millions of other people around the world had that same trigger. It was that same trigger word where it was like we all were on the same wavelength. It was great. It was awesome. It showed how much Star Wars really grew inside, right? Like it was really a phenomenon, that we all held on to, didn't know that we were getting all this cool stuff. And then when they did it, it was just great, and it turned into, of course, midnight releases, and then of course the prequels came out, and it was like it's those experiences. Like, okay, so my first collection was all Power of the Force 2. It had vintage, and it was all 3 3/4, but everything from Happy Meal toys to everything you can possibly imagine, pizza boxes. I collected everything. Nice. I sold it all. I kept a few things, but I sold it all to start my business, so it was like one of those things. And it was like right after 2005, it's like, I think I was just done with collecting after the 18th Farm Boy Luke. It was getting to that point. It's like, all right, now enough's enough, because now you're really exploiting my weakness. And it's my fault. It's my fault for having a weakness. But at the same time, I just had to stop. So I paused, and so like when I decided to go back into it, it was the 6-inch version. So it's like I have those memories, and I had that experience of being in the moment for 10, 15 years, or how long it lasted for myself, and I've always have those, like the stories we have, and they're just the nerdiest stories you can possibly think of, like the movie Jingle All the Way. That's not a Um, that is not that far from actual events for midnight for Phantom Menace
Yeah.
toys.
Wow.
It's not that far.
Julie and I waiting in line at Toys R Us in San Bernardino all day long. We were second in line, for the Phantom Menace toy release. The doors open, we all go in. We're getting run over. We're getting pushed into pegs. I'm just about ready to start decking people.
Yeah.
But I mean, not even just okay, so the midnight releases were one thing, right? But then there was the whole collector's craze, and the Hot Wheels collectors started doing the same thing around the same time. Hot Wheels started getting really, really big because of the treasure hunt cars, right? You'd go to Target in the morning at 8 a.m., the doors would open, and those mother would just start sprinting to the toy aisle. And it's like, dear God. And I'm doing my little power walk thing, but I'm like,
yeah. At the same time, you're
running.
Like, I don't want to look ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. 9 times out of 10, they were stopping in the Hot Wheels aisle. Star Wars were fine, but God,
I remember taking my my brother-in-law when episode 2 came out, and we had to go to a Toys R Us because ours wasn't having the midnight, so we had to go down to Riverside or something. And he went there to buy Spider-Man because Spider-Man 2 was coming out.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he went to go, and I told him, I said, they're not going to sell them to you. Yes, they will. I said, no, this is a Star Wars midnight release. They're not going to sell you. Okay. They did not sell it to him. He went to straight to the Spider-Man toys and tried to buy him, and they wouldn't sell it to him. Why don't you be a Star Wars fan?
Yeah. We did KB. We did a KB in Redlands for the midnight release of Attack of the Clones figures. And man, those were good times.
It was good times, and would we ever get back to it? Like some sort of way, somehow, I don't know.
Hey, if they did it, I'd be there. I'd be there to buy the toys.
That's something I would want to hear from you guys. This is a video I'm working on for my channel right now. Is with such a big influx of collectors my age now that have entered this hobby in the last few years, it's kind of created almost like a resurgence or like a second wave of the Star Wars collecting world. Yeah. And a lot of us collect a lot of different things. What's happened over the course, we all started with Black Series maybe 5 years ago, but now everybody collects one line, and then you dabble or casually collect everything else.
True.
Something that my friends and I are throwing around right now is like, one, what would the reception be to midnight releases again at your Walmarts, your Targets, whatever, or even like GameStop or something. But another one is, what would you guys feel about if they were like, hey, we are only doing card backs for Black Series from now on, and they're going to be themed. So like you would have, hey, so this next wave is going to be Power of the Force card backs, and it's going to be X amount of characters as a wave that all showed up originally on that packaging. Do you guys think that's something that would entice you guys to buy figures maybe more often, as opposed to just in those rectangular boxes they're in right now?
I think the rectangular boxes personally are boring as hell. I think that if you, between them and G.I. Joe, I think that the worst case, G.I. Joe has pivoted. They've now got the retro cards,
right? And
we've had those Black Series figures that have come out in the card backs, right? They do them for the anniversaries. Like we've got the Revenge of the Sith coming right now. I think if they stick with it and stay with it, I think they would sell. I think it'd be more eye catching. I think they would attract more buyers.
If they stuck with it, yes. I know that, like I said, me personally, everybody has their way they collect, right? I told myself my second collection is all open. I'm not going to buy 2 anymore. It's all good. So a lot of times doesn't matter. Foil, no foil, this, that. I just rip it and throw it away and whatever. But I do recognize Mando Mike, for example. He would buy all those anniversary ones, right? And when they looked amazing. I was like, this looks awesome. I wish the entire line. I was saying, I wish the entire line was like that. Yeah. When Power of the Force 2 actually came out, I was hoping that they had the movie scene on it and it was individually custom to that character that was out, not just the generic Vader head with the saber. You know what I mean? I was disappointed in that packaging. I wanted the card backs the way they were. Like because we didn't
You
grow
wanted
up
vintage collection. You wanted vintage collection.
how
and
it is
what we ended
now.
up
Yes,
getting was yes,
100%. That 100%. You know, and so if okay, so now we have what we have, and if Black Series did a 180 on it and said, okay, from now on we are going to go to that style, and every wave that comes out, I think visually it would look amazing.
Yeah.
It would look amazing in the stores. It would look amazing on people's collections, and I think you would keep a lot of mitten box figures going. But as long as they did that double cardboard like the retro,
yes,
how if that was like that sturdy, then I think it'd be more hard pressed to be ripping these open than, you know, to do that. And there'd be a couple figures I probably would keep in the box or keep like that and get autographed, you know, and it would look so cool, you know. I'm not a fan of the boxes, but again, I'm like I said, I'm looking at the figure, you know.
But
they did side art, but who wants to display? I mean, the figure.
Mando Mike did.
Yeah.
But to your point specifically, though, Tommy, if they came out with a Power of the Force line of 9 figures that mimicked, you know, what we got in 1995, I'd probably buy them. Like,
here's the thing. Here's the thing, Scott. I think, like I said, if the Hasbro sent out those probe droids and are starting to look at other podcasts and everything like that, here's the thing. Recognize that this is the 30th anniversary of the Star Wars figures coming out. Release a 6-inch buff Luke, a 6-inch buff Vader.
Yeah.
You got and the
Princess Leia's got to look like Anthony Kiedis.
Yes,
it's
I would. Here's the thing: I would buy 2 of those because, and it does hit the nostalgia factor for me at $27.99 now. So you know whatever it is, I would be buying them because it's just the stories that we share today. You know, I probably wouldn't even buy them to open. I'd probably just buy them and have that set only. You know what I mean? I probably wouldn't open them.
Well, I think the card back line actually does make sense, and I think it would, you know, because when you're coming out with the boxes, even though I think now they are trying to, like, you know, specially indicate different card backs or boxes, but the card back, something about a card back doesn't make you, other than Scott doesn't want to make you rip it open.
Yeah.
You know, I think with the newer way that they're making the card backs, where it's like it's double thick, they kind of slide in. It's not as kind of like glued with the actual clam. You know, it's kind of like in an actual structure. It holds up better for you to hang it on the wall.
Yes,
for you to make a display that way. So I think I would up it a little bit more and keep more things back into the box.
I would too. If it was visually more appealing, I might have a better or an easier time of maybe, like I said, Vader, for example. Like, cause I buy Insta Vader no matter what, right? So I would actually buy one, put them in my DTOF case, and then open one. You know, just that. Like, if anything, therefore they just got another $25 out of me. You know what I mean? Just by doing that. So, Commander Bly. Hitting us again. Thank you so much for that. They would need to come up with a TRT and a blue Chewy. Oh, blue chew.
Thank you, Bly. Very nice. Thank you.
But you know, the good thing about the awesome thing about the Power of the Force 2, though, whenever it came out, is not only did we get those 9 figures, but we did get those vehicles, right? And they were everywhere. You could find them everywhere. They weren't
eventually
it was, you know, I immediately bought the X-Wing and the Millennium. I went to Target that week and I found it all. And I got myself my very first Target credit card and I bought all that shit. And I was happier than a pig in slop, man.
Yeah,
it was so great.
That was my first taste of FOMO, if there ever was. And that started, like I said, the craze switch happened in my head where, again, I was following on the Star Wars Insider, I was following on the toy magazines, you know, all that stuff. I didn't know when there was no release date. I just didn't know when it was coming. It just said spring of or summer of 95. And I had another friend that collected also, and he said there's rumors that they're hitting was it Spencer Gifts at the mall? Yeah, or really? Spencer Gifts. There were rumors that they're there. So we went to every single Spencer Gift and we finally found them at the Inland Center Mall in San, you know, where we live, guys. So I found Luke, Leia, and Han there, and therefore that started my every day going to every Target and eventually finding them. And then, eventually, then it was like they were everywhere. I didn't even know why I was panicking, but that's what you do as a collector. You panic, and
oh yeah.
So,
but and there's a reason why we panic, and that is these say if you're a collector at all, the packages change, that you want to have first editions of things, you want to be the first to have it on your shelf. There's bragging rights too.
Yes,
right?
of course.
So
yeah.
It's all just absolutely ridiculous, but it feeds that beast. It feeds that nostalgia beast.
But it's our world. You know what I mean? Like people have their they collect spoons, they collect, they go to concerts.
My grandmother did that.
Yeah, they go to sports events, and we have this. It's not any different, and
No.
You're 100% right about the bragging rights. Like, did you find long tray, Luke? No, I've got long tray short saber, Luke. It's
okay. A local talk here. There was a comic book store next to our movie theater up here, right? And a friend of mine worked there, but the guy that owned it was an absolute dick. I mean, the guy was just the worst. And Julie and I would go in there all the time. He had a little Star Wars section, and he'd always bring things in. I don't know where the hell he got them, but I'd start thumbing through, and that's where I got short saber and the long tray Luke Skywalker, because as Mando Mike said earlier, that was a thing. All of these figures had different variations.
The variants.
Running changes, and oh god,
what didn't help is that the price got, like, Wizard World magazine had the price.
Oh
and, you
wow.
go right to the store section and like, dude, Vader long tray short saber is $25. That's the value. They valued it. It was like, and so
that was 30 years ago. $25. That's
no
like
eBay. We had no internet. We had no cell phones. This is like who puts that value on that?
I know.
But we had those, and people had those and they were in Toys R Us with those magazines, buying every rare toy there was. I remember, like, again, because there was a lot of the 90s had a good toy craze before Star Wars, but again, nobody really looked at variants until, and then of course Spawn and McFarlane was like, I'm painting this one gray, this one blue, this one, so
those prices were always wrong in the Wizard magazine in the back. They were always wrong, overinflated. Somebody be sitting there arguing with somebody, and they'd be like, no, this says it's bro, it's not that, it's $15 on the shelf over here, bro.
I remember when Todd McFarlane, he first, because again, service merchandise, I walk out and there's Spawn toys. I'm like, oh my god. And I remember buying the Spawn toys, and the company was called Todd's Toys. And then Todd Toys changed like 2 months later to McFarlane Toys, but I had stupidly opened that, and I kept kicking myself. Why did I open that? It's a collectible now.
Oh, some of those were going for like some of those repaints or the original were going for like $100.
Malbolgia was
I remember my friend found it at the swap meet for $40, and he was just like, oh, the best figure in the world. I mean, it's the biggest figure at the time,
Yeah, it was huge.
Man, but Hellrunner. When does anything Hasbro does make sense? It's never. Sometimes it's just one of those no-brainer things. Like, this is an anniversary thing. I think if you did something like this, where they give us a few figures from the Power of the Force line 2 and a 6-inch, like big, make it big, or even reissue them for vintage or whatever it is, I think you would trigger a lot of people again. Meaning, it would trigger that sense of, I remember these. I might get back into it. You know what I mean? What could it hurt? I think you would definitely sell to us, and then you might gain some traction with it. You might gain some collectors of that. So, it's sometimes it's not always about the current stuff. It's always about like bringing in those people, for the hobby. Like Tommy said, hopefully there is a resurgence and renaissance. It can only benefit us as existing collectors, you know what I mean? We'll get new sculpts, we'll get new characters, we'll get new things added to our collections. But at the same time, new collectors are just important to us too, as it should be to Hasbro, and hitting that, like, hey guys, 30 years ago this happened, and blew our minds.
What's really funny, and that is technically, for something to be a vintage thing, it has to be between 20 and 25 years old. So there's true Star Wars vintage. I'm going to coin this term. These are neo vintage figures, right?
Okay,
this is a neo vintage.
It has to be, right? Yeah.
Right, because you cannot look at these, and because I've seen people trying to sell them as vintage figures. These are not freaking vintage Star Wars figures.
Yeah.
But technically, by the definition, they are indeed.
Yeah.
So
go to
we're
eBay,
now
type
gonna
in
call them.
vintage, and you'll get Power of the Force 2. You'll get Saga Collection. You'll get.
So we're going to coin this term here on the toy chest, neo vintage.
Yeah.
And we're going to see if
And
it
that's
catches
95 present.
on. Yes, 95 to
Neo vintage.
Yeah.
neo vintage. Yeah. It's better than Star Wars 77. Let's just go there. Okay. It's
a lot better. A lot better.
Yeah, and this year is the 20th anniversary of Star Wars 05. And
there you go.
Star Wars 05. I remember. Yeah. By the way, I hope the tickets go on sale soon for that. If they haven't yet, to go see Revenge of the Sith in the theaters again. I'm anxious to do that. So we want to, as many people as we can locally. We want to make it a thing. Let's go. That'd be cool. I'll go see it more than once. Let's do it.
Sure.
Yeah. Still modern to me is 95 plus. Man, everybody has their vocabulary on these things, right? I usually just I try to refer to as the titles: Power of the Force 2, Saga Collection, Legacy Collection, Vintage Collection. So when you say vintage collection meaning it encompasses that. Yeah. So
right.
And then I always refer
to neo
vintage.
I'm telling you, it's neo vintage. We're making it a thing. Damn it.
Neo vintage.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, until the next, we just had the Black Series 10-year anniversary. I don't know when the vintage collection, I don't know when the modern neo vintage collections. I don't know what they have there. But see the problem here?
Starting down that path.
No, because next step is the real vintage become antique, and then these become vintage, and then
oh my god,
antique.
Antique. Yeah. Hey man, again, it's all about the memories, and it's all about what we're storing in here. It's like like Mando Mike brought up. The last time we did
talk about an antique.
Yeah, I didn't say that. He brought this up last time we did any kind of like midnight or early bird special right there. Scott Mooch and I had recent Target almost had a throwdown. Yeah, and that's a true story. It's not
wow.
Yeah, it was like
yourself or with you guys and someone else?
No, for someone else.
Somebody else. It got nasty. Yeah.
Kick their ass. That's what
yeah. Almost had a beat up a 4-year-old woman.
Trying to get dumped on your head over some plastic. Yeah, boy.
Yeah. She was out of line, wasn't she, Scott? She was.
And just shut her up. I'm like, here, have a Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah. Walmart got one case of the midnight release figures for Rise of Skywalker.
Here's the thing: we talk about Toys R Us, right? But they did some bonehead moves, man. Later on in the collecting, like the last thing, and one more thing, and then we'll go. Is that the last midnight release that we had for Last Jedi or is it Revenge?
Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, or wait,
Rise of Skywalker.
Which one you're talking? Toys R Us?
Yeah, Toys R Us. It had to have been Rise, right? Because then
no, they were closed by Rise.
Yeah, they were.
Sorry, it was Last Jedi because they had the Victorian. Okay, so our Toys R Us, there was at least 150 people midnight. That was the last midnight release, right? It was us, it had Ernie, everybody. We were there, 100 people in line, and the employees were there, and they were advertising a Midnight Madness Star Wars release, right? They know how many people were outside. They came in, took a head count. When they opened the doors, the employees just let us go to the aisle. They had 4 figures on the shelf.
Geez.
4 figures,
not
2
4 variation.
No,
it's literally 4 figures.
Only quantity. That's it. And they said that's all we got. So they let us spend 3 hours outside, knowing, and this is wintertime, knowing that they had 4 figures on the shelf, 150 people in line, and that was it. That was when I was like, it's dead.
Yeah.
And that was before I think I had joined permanently the Sarlacc Digest. I was still in the Nerds with Attitude, and I had just been a guest star a couple times. So I had a friend working at Target that said, "Come here, we've got cases." And I'm like, "Okay." So those guys were at Toys R Us. I went to Target.
Yeah.
I've got the figures I'm looking for. And all of a sudden, Ernie comes running in. They got nothing at Toys R Us, just shouting through Target, like,
that's our Ernie.
That's our Ernie.
That's our Ernie. Yeah.
It was comical. That's how I think I met Ernie. Was actually
yeah. A lot of people met Ernie that night. We got Darth Profi checking in. Would be cool to see Midnight Madness again, but if they properly stock the shelves, that's
absolutely
when Phantom Menace came out and you had the wall and the Cubs, and that was. But again, the fan base was there too. You know what I mean? It was there. It was cheaper. You know, there's no way I'm buying 25 Black Series figures in one night like I did Phantom Menace, you know.
But the fan base is still there, and the problem of it is that now I think they're relying too much on social media to say, hey, these items are here and everything. I think if they really kind of did it like the way they used to, was promote the stores, have some representatives at the stores, and really try to, I think they could actually draw that excitement back, and especially for younger fans, back to the way it was. But now it's like they'll just put up a tweet or throw out like a post and be like, okay, that's all the resources we need to do with this.
I mean,
I think they're missing a big opportunity there, man.
You know, and Stu John, that's why Toys R Us is gone, because they lost that,
consumer trust. They lost
the trust. Yeah, they lost it with us after that day was done. I was like, I'm done with this. I told I'm not doing any more midnight releases. Done. And collecting change for me. You know, it just was like, and it still to this day holds true, because I just pre-order. I don't go to stores, and if I do, I am checking the toy aisle. But Scott finds if he finds something for me, he'll let me know. But I don't like depend on that. I pre-order everything, and if he happens to find something, but I don't go out of my way anymore, like getting up on a Saturday and hitting every Target and Walmart up here. I just don't do it anymore, and I do miss it, even though I was going to get up that Saturday and find nothing. It was still got me through a lot of hard times in life. Man. It really did. Just something that it was a hobby for us. Again, it's our sport teams. It's our way of entertainment. How many times did trucks drive by and throw stuff at us and call us names and standing in line for Star Wars in general? I mean, that happened to us. You know what I mean? And
wow.
And I'm like almost like sitting there going like, I don't know how I'm hurting anybody, but cool. I'm just trying to buy a toy, man.
There's something about like whenever there's a new wave of Target exclusives, I always go the morning they're supposed to release. And I don't know, there's something fun about doing that every once in a while. It doesn't need to be all the time for me, but there's a couple other local collectors. We go, we pick through, check the paint apps, and it's cool because there's not a lot of people that do that anymore, but there's something about that almost nostalgia for something I never got to experience.
But it's your own path, like you have your own experience, and you were grandfathered into it, and you honestly, like, you hear these stories, and you are living your own experience. Like there's things that you can have that we don't have, you know what I mean? Like your experiences and ways you're doing things that we're missing out because it's like, we're not getting it,
we're still chasing that dragon, man.
We are, and
dragon,
$550 Legion dragon, base price, by the way.
$850 with the add-ons.
Lord, God. But no, I think if they did, if a company were to actually commit and do an actual real Midnight Madness, embrace the fandom that's out there. Don't just, of course you're going to do it for a profit. You're going to do it to sell toys, make money, but actually communicate with the fandom. There are people on YouTube that go on and talk about things. Embrace some of them. Hasbro does. They've got their little, what was it, HasCon, where they brought the fan community in to do some of that, get people pumped about it again.
Yeah.
100%. I know my generation wants it. We want more exciting packaging. We want card backs. We want
man, like
more exciting ways to release things. Either have YouTubers do it, or say, hey, we're doing a midnight release for this wave for the Mando and Grogu movie. Just do something.
Do it.
Send it to you could. I know they're partnered with Target anyway. Just do a Target exclusive thing. Send a bunch of stock to the stores, and there you go. You can make it a midnight release.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, there is an opportunity for a reset here, right? I mean, Star Wars is doing it with the return to theaters, and they're gonna pump up the Mando Grogu movie into this new era of the way we consume and all that stuff. You know, there is a way to rebrand themselves without starting over to hit those beats. You know, we're only 3 months into this year. I don't think it's out of the realm of Hasbro releasing us a couple of those Power of the Force 6-inch buff.
That'd be
Luke.
cool.
Just do it.
Just shifting slightly, you brought something up, right? And number one, Tommy, you said that Mando Grogu movie, and then Mooch, you said, hey, you know, Revenge of the Sith, it's back in the theaters again. Revenge of the Sith is hitting theaters after Celebration. What are the chances are that we actually have a Mando Grogu teaser in front of Revenge of the Sith to start building up that excitement?
Why
probably gonna happen?
A sizzle reel of some sort, like they might.
I mean, they're going to do the trailer. They're going to show a trailer at Celebration for sure. So you think that trailer could show up at the screening for Revenge of the Sith then?
You know,
it would be the
smart marketing
move they can move.
See, that's smart though.
I know.
There's a difference. There's a difference between Hasbro though and Lucasfilm, right? I mean, it's possible that this could happen, and I think that would be a brilliant play on their part.
I think if Power of the Force 2 showed anything, it was the that flame, like that awakening and everybody that loved Star Wars and didn't know they loved Star Wars, and all of a sudden it's there again. And again, it became a worldwide thing. Again, it revitalized 30 years, not just with the toys, with movies and everything else that kickstarted
Special editions,
Star Wars
baby.
again. Yeah, it's like
I remember that trailer for generations. You could only see Star Wars like this, and it was a little TV screen, right?
Yeah, it was just something. It was a sleeping giant being reawoken again from the original Star Wars, original trilogy, and to the people that grew up with it and didn't get a chance to talk about it in high school. Yeah, the sleeping giant, man, and there's no reason why that can't repeat. You know, and there's only ways of doing it is to actually like do something. You know, whatever scale they want to do it on, I think we will be there. You know, we love playing in the sandbox. We love this world. So, yeah.
Darth Profi here. There's no retail store that's stock figures enough to have a midnight release. Maybe larger online retailers like Entertainment Earth could have a pop-up store. Maybe, but if you make a business partnership with say Target or say Walmart, and you specifically build it up to be that event, right? I'm pointing in the right direction. That event, exactly. Ship them enough product, and you know you could make a wall of Star Wars.
Don't ship them 4 figures. And then have a midnight release, even though the employees sold them out the back. I know that happened, but
manufactured scarcity. Just saying.
Yeah. I mean, even the Target I went to that night, they only got like 2 cases of figures. It wasn't crazy, right?
It wasn't. Yeah. Well,
stop it, Commander Bly. Jesus.
I was just
a hit movie.
So cool to see Star Wars 77 isn't a thing. It's just
well, he paid for us to be a thing. So
right. Okay, you're right. I'm sorry. Wait, no. It could be Star Wars 77 again for the right price.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you do it, guys. That's how you market it.
Well, anyway, you know, we're over our time, but you know, it's so much fun to kind of like go and reminisce on a bunch of things, and hopefully another 30 years. Where's wood? This is IKEA. I don't know if it's real wood, but you know, hopefully another 30 years.
Doing this, and I'm 80.
Well, what else are you gonna
do? I don't know
do?
what I've done with my life.
Oh, what else are you gonna do? I mean, there's times in between this, but
you guys can just send me your collection.
Yeah, Tommy inherits it all. He has a mega collection, and then
the Blitz Transmissions Midlife Crisis collection.
There you go.
Contributed
another
by
box today.
Starlight Digest and Shadow Nose Network. Boom.
Another 50-year-olds gave their life away to Tommy. All right, guys. Well, thank you, anybody. This is great to kind of go back and do this. You know, of course, we will do this again in 2 weeks. Maybe we'll get news on another live stream that Hasbro put out.
Son of a bitch.
Commander Bly, Star Wars 77 forever. Now it's
well
official.
Played, sir.
Well played. Yeah, so again, in 2 weeks, when we do this again, we'll see if there's any news coming out to another live stream before Celebration. At Celebration, we're getting under that 30-day era. We're getting close to Celebration, and I don't want to hype it up too much and build it up so much in my head, but I am expecting some things to be released and everything. Hasbro, the panels were released, and we will be talking that on Wednesday. So we have a full panel list, everything, and Hasbro has a major panel. So
good.
Credit collection and carbonized, baby. Let's go.
Yes.
All right.
No.
Man, I am really gonna miss that Tommy guy.
But of course, until we see you guys on Wednesday, I know I'm going to hand the floor to Alex on the SKN, because I mean, unless we had like another hour, he could probably go through all the stuff. It's easier for him to tell you, and then hit that link in the description below. Go for it, Alex.
Hey, all I'm saying is that, you guys inspire us to keep working harder than what we're doing. But that man above me right here was on the latest episode of the Tribunal, which is a G.I. Joe Collectors podcast over on SKN Shadow Nose Network. We release them on Friday for all channel members, and then it drops on Saturday morning.
I'm a channel member. I'm getting it Friday, and I'm going to watch it Friday.
I know you are. And then from there, we've got Toy Box Chronicles every Wednesday at 7 p.m. right after, all the other great festivities on, and before the Starlight Digest podcast, Friday nights, Pixel Plastic Inc. And we will be, myself and Chet, and also Rad, I just found a Rad too. We'll be in Toy Atlanta.
Awesome.
And we got a big announcement in Toy Atlanta, but we'll let that announcement go. But we are live streaming from our table, the Odd Frog Entertainment Bandito Radio, 112 FM. If you're not listening to the only toy-focused radio station anywhere in the world, then you should be. But we will be live streaming from there, and we're going to try to rope these guys in to be some in-studio dudes so we can get you guys on and everything. Yeah. So, but that's what we're doing over there. But it's not as much. Look, we like to say we're hardworking, but we're not as hardworking as the one-man crew right next to me over here, Mr. Tommy over at Bliss Transmissions, which we are actively following and watching.
Yes.
I'm a member there too.
Yeah, so I am.
He's not even a member here.
No, I don't like us. I'm not a fan.
In the throes of my March Madness bracket. If you're a fan of Black Series Clone Troopers,
hey, I am.
Hey, there it is. Cloner alert.
I have one here somewhere.
March Madness bracket.
Yeah,
Cloner. The top 64 most wanted clone troopers voted by community polling in the Black Series line. We're down to our final 16. I'm really excited with how the polls are going. I'm very excited to see how this turns out. Make sure you can go to my YouTube channel and vote. I post polls around between 6 and 7 a.m. Eastern time every day that I do polls. And I have a calendar. You can check it out. Got reviews coming out. I've got a couple videos on the horizon. I did talk about here. I'm going to do a video about should Black Series move to card back packaging as opposed to the boxes. And then another one sparked by this conversation tonight. Should we see a return to midnight toy events? And how would Hasbro benefit, and other companies too, from engaging more with the common collector? So got a lot of cool stuff coming on the channel. And as always, we got cool stuff coming from the Starlight Cloner. Coming from the Starlight Digest as well.
That's right. Yeah. Again, Wednesday we will break down Star Wars proper, all the news and stuff. Again, we're going to go over the celebration slate, the panels to see what's missing, what's not there, and what's there being announced, and of course all the latest and greatest. And we do have some breakdowns coming. For example, if you are wondering why we talk about Shadows of the Empire. Like, what is Shizor? What is it? What is Shadows? We are going to come up with a video, a playlist, or something like that. It's going to break it down, the timeline on a specific genre of Star Wars, what it was, how it came to be, why it's important, why it's relevant, canon or non-canon. So we were going to up our game in the lore archives. We're going to call it the Jedi Archives. You could go in there and learn anything you want at any point about Star Wars. We're going to be working hard on that. And when I say we, Scott and myself, we're going to be putting that together and going full steam ahead with the toys and everything else. So I think we're done.
No,
we're not done. We're not.
I gotta get
sit
in
back,
here,
guys.
I gotta say something here. Yeah, buckle up, baby, because we're back. Sunday Fun Day in a galaxy far, far away. If you are in Southern California, come on over to Better Days on May 4th. We're going to have a trivia contest. That is a bar, 21 and up, everybody. So let's have some fun. It's a toy drive. So your admission into this contest is a $10 unwrapped toy. Still in the box. Got to make sure it's mint condition. Okay, it doesn't have to be mint condition, but your admission into the event is a toy. It's all going to go to Chips for Kids, and it's just a great way to have themed drinks, a lot of fun, live music, and win a prize. All
great
for
prizes.
A good cause. Great prizes. He keeps saying great prizes. I don't know what they are just yet, but I'm sure that Tashi Station Emporium is going to be a part of that great prize. Maybe.
That's why I say great prizes. It's all going to be stuff that I do.
Wow. When are you going to 3D print me a life-size commando droid?
Hey,
Whoa.
Oh, Matt, Tommy, I don't know. Are you in my archives on my computer? Like, did you see what was coming out next?
No,
I mean,
actually a thing. Dude.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yes.
How
yes
much?
to all. Yeah. Look, man. Tashi Station Emporium. I have the YouTube channel. I do ultimate builds. I'm working on our mascot as we speak. Our pit droid to come to life. It's a lot of fun if you're into 3D printing. If you're into your 3D printing for toys stuff, your stands, your displays, I got you covered over there. And yeah, my ultimate build series includes a lot of things that we talk about here, life size, and a lot of stuff we haven't been talking about. So it's a lot of fun, a lot of work, a lot of fun though.
Also, the last off is on, so get your lasts in. We are still giving away for the last person to, the current standing. Hal Runner Base is at 3 lasts. Gordon is at 2. Commander Bly, a pathetic 1.
but
hey,
I know.
Hey, Bly, I have a different list over here that says otherwise.
Oh, okay. And then Stu John Jedi is in first with 4. So there's still time. There's still
First
time. We're
and
going to be giving
last,
away.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, the last off is just leave a comment to be the last person to leave a comment when the stream shuts down. It shuts down. We have no control over it. It's just whenever YouTube just shuts down the live chat. The last person to comment gets a tick, and we're going to send you that 1 in 5,000. I have opened mine, so actually there's only 4,999 that we know of that are still in the box.
Right.
So we will send that to you as it's a fun thing that Commander Bly started. But let that commence now. I think with that, we're going to leave it with Darth Profi. Thank you so much for joining us.
Buddy.
Great stream, subbed. Thank you so much, everybody. With that, Scott.
Keep it nerdy, everybody.
This is Grand Admiral Thrawn. You are listening to the Sarlacc Digest. What a fascinating play on words.